Good morning and welcome. If you are catching the replay, I'm happy to see you here. So I'm going to jump out to Facebook. Let's see if we can make this work. And then I'm going to give you a rundown of what it is, everything that we're going to be doing. Okay. Take a tour of what's on offer as we focus on the heart for this 3 here at Good Food and share on Good Food and You. Yes. Voila. And I believe we should be bumping out. Got it. Okay, so I think we are now on Facebook. I'm going to give it another, it says it's streaming out. So I'm going to assume it's working. Whoop, whoop. Welcome and good morning to this orientation session for the lowdown of what you can expect in the Good Food Network for the month of July and August. Hi, my name is Luca. I'm your holistic nutrition practitioner, and I'm coming your way from my little home base in Treaty 7 territory, nestled to the right of the Rocky Mountains. Glad to be here with you. I have some stuff to get through. So we are making an absolute 180 turn, and as it turns out, it's more like a 30-degree turn. Yes, I have math skills, don't worry. But from what we were doing before, we jumped into the heart. The heart is going to be our focus. Your entire cardiovascular system is what we are focusing on for the summer months of 2023. And we're coming hot off the heels of the liver. That's why I think it's more like a 30-degree shift than a 180. You may think the liver, the heart, there's nothing much that they have in common, but you would be mistaken. The heart and the liver, there's a lot of issues when the liver actually starts to struggle. Some of the issues at the liver level start to show up in the heart, which is why I'm going on to the heart next. We're doing this tour of the body. We started back in September with the gut, and we did an inflammation bit. We did some balancing blood sugars. Then we got into adrenals and thyroid and liver. And here we are now with the heart and your entire cardiovascular system. Here's how today's session is going to work. So if you're watching the replay, know that there's links around to link you out to everything as you go through, and I'll make sure that I add those after we finish our recording. If you're joining me live, then I tell you come back to this, just comment below and say, yes, I want links at any point, and then I will send them back to you afterwards. So we are going to go through how to note the top 10 ways that I see it in my clients when their heart is asking for help. When these are the symptoms or the conditions that are shared, this tells me, oh, Luca, we're going to have to look at the heart predominantly and really do some big support there in the cardiovascular system. So we'll start with that. Then I'm going to give you a tour of the network. So for those who are going to be joining us, or I know we have a few new people in the network this month, I want to make sure that you get a tour of the network as well, so you can get a sense of what's up for grabs and how to keep track of everything. Because here's the thing. The Good Food Network, I hear from people at the outset, when they start, it's a little bit overwhelming. If you've ever taken any classes with me, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, they are all overwhelming. And they're all overwhelming, I'll tell you, for one very good reason. The content I provide, we're not just skimming the surface. We're not just doing some nutrition light, L-I-T-E. I think you're an intelligent human being, and I'm going to assume that you actually want the real story. You actually want the pieces that are going to do the work. Part of the secret of when you start working with me is that, it's like always the same things, Luca. Yeah, it kind of is. Not kind of, it totally is. The work is the same for everyone. So while we are concentrating on the heart and the cardiovascular system this season for July and August, we're doing 2 months on it because it's so important. Know this, everything I'm proposing while we are focusing on nutrients for the heart, they are nutrients that reduce inflammation, and they are nutrients that balance your blood sugars, because those are the two biggest drivers of issues in the cardiovascular system. So whether or not you have issues in your cardiovascular system and they're showing up, or you have maybe the beginnings of things in your cardiovascular system, but you can't tell yet because it's not registering yet with the symptoms and the problems going on, The work I propose is about keeping you well. Doesn't matter if you have an issue going on or not. Whether you have an issue, whether you don't, whether you want to prevent, whether you want to stop a family history of things going on, the work is the same for all of us. Yeah. Do you want to eat? Do you want to eat for wellness? Thank you. Bye. We're done. Yes. It's all the same work. So let's start then with the top 10 ways to know if your heart is asking for help. So I like to use this little clip in a minute. I'm going to try to isolate it and then use that for social media stuff. So let me start again. But this is really, I want to be clear, these are the top 10 ways that I see it in my clients where I know we'll have to do a piece on the heart. So let's get to it. Here are the top 10 signs to know whether or not your heart needs a little bit of love and if nutrition could be of support to you. To be clear, these are the top 10 things that I see in my clients that tell me right away, check mark, let's look after the heart. Number 1, have you ever had a heart attack? I think that's pretty obvious that should be one of the ways. Number 2 may surprise you. Ever had a stroke? Yep. Is there a history of heart disease or stroke in your family? Hands up. Put a check mark every time you get a yes for any of these. Did somebody tell you you have atherosclerosis? That's a really big word that sometimes feels like a hard word to pronounce. That is code for plaque buildup or the thickening of arteries or the narrowing of your arteries. And it's not that the arteries are thickening because of the plaque deposits. The plaque deposits are called atherosclerosis. I think you're a smart cookie. I'm not going to dumb things down. Sorry. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, do you have high or low blood pressure? Yeah. Cholesterol issues. Aneurysms. Aneurysms absolutely have a vascular component to them and blood related, of course. Do you have blood clotting issues? And it can go either way. Do you clot a lot, quite readily? Do you not clot very well? Do you struggle with fatigue? It's a big one, actually. And it can have quite an impact on your cardiovascular system. And do you have type 2 diabetes or a metabolic syndrome? Yeah. Wait a second, Luca. We're talking about the heart. Yes. Do you know that for those who are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, your risk of developing cardiovascular disease increases? And it's because blood sugar imbalances, which is very clearly at the root of type 2 diabetes, is also at the root of most chronic conditions having to do with cardiovascular system. Yeah. Blood sugar issues drive cardio issues. Blood sugar issues drive that plaque buildup. Blood sugar issues drive heart disease and cardiovascular troubles and fatigue, actually. So those are the top 10 ways. So I've got more. Of course, I've got more. Before I get into the more, if you're watching the shorter version of these top 10 ways, then get thee to the GoodFood Network is all I'm going to say. And there's a link wherever you're watching this to join us, or just request it and I'll send it to you. But there's more. There's more than those 10. Of course there is. Okay, so here's some more things to consider. Have you ever had heart failure? Have you ever had heart valve issues? Have you ever had thickening of your arteries? Well, we've sort of said that already. Varicose veins, arrhythmias or heart palpitations. Surprise, surprise, surprise. That is histamine mediated. Ooh, interessant. Chronic venous insufficiency. Now we're getting into actual diagnoses. Deep vein thrombosis. Anything to do with your veins and your arteries and your valves and your heart muscle, right? And blood. What about blood issues? Peripheral arterial disease, coronary artery disease, congestive heart failure, pulmonary embolism, which can be fatal, I realize. Also, there are some links to fainting with the cardiovascular system, and there's some that can be linked to leaky gut. So a lot of the issues that I've talked about are driven by leaky gut, by issues not working well at the gut, which can mean microbiome, the intestinal lining itself, and digestive issues, or 2 or 3 of these. So if you know that there's leaky gut going on, some of the compounds produced when there's a leaky gut scenario can drive heart issues as well. So we're going to be talking about the heart and the gut actually all month long. We have a specific we have a specific class on the heart and gut connection. I'm going to take you through all of these things. So if you've said yes to any of these, if you've said yes to more than 2, then you would get really good benefit from joining the Good Food Network. And I'll tell you how to do it. But this is what happens. So when we're talking about inflammation, I think people are starting to understand what inflammation is, but it's still not really clear. Inflammation is something not working right in the body. There is a response being turned on to do repair. So when the inflammation response is turned on, it's because the body needs to do repair. So the inflammation response is what you want. However, you don't want to trip it on as often. Like, you want to reduce how often it gets tripped on, is what I'm saying. So I love inflammation, I'm not going to lie, but I don't love when it's turned on persistently, where it's always on. That's where the trouble lies. And while I don't want to turn off inflammation, I want to turn off the need to turn on inflammation. I don't know if you're getting the subtlety here. I hope you are. But it's really about reducing what's driving heart disease. What drives heart disease? Inflammation and blood sugar imbalances. Blood sugar imbalances, if you have a hard time balancing your blood sugars for whatever reason, there can be many, many different reasons. That's where the detective hat work begins. But when there is blood sugar imbalances going on in the body, there's a harder time getting sugars into your cells for whatever reason. Could be the blood sugars themselves, could be insulin issues, could be cardiovascular stuff going on. It could be a bunch of different things. It can be the persistent toggling of the stress response, which is it's the exact same thing as inflammation in the body. Stress in the body triggers the inflammatory response. Every time that response is being triggered, there's sugar that now courses through your veins. Part of the issue here is that blood sugars, when they don't get taken up into cells, end up being like tiny little pieces of sandpaper. My friend Angela Buick, holistic nutrition gal, explained it to me this way when I was in school. And she said, it's like blood sugars are like sandpaper through your veins, and they just go, whoosh, and they sort of rough up the joint a little bit. And they bring damage. Blood sugars bring free radical damage. Now your body needs to fix that cut that's happened from that sandpaper. And the way it fixes the cut is that it makes more cholesterol. Why? Because cholesterol is your body's Band-Aids. Mm-hmm. And so what is cholesterol, though? Well, it's a sticky substance that does a really great job of mending where there's been an injury. So I love that you're mending, and I love that you're fixing injuries. I don't love that you have injuries. I'm sorry, you have injuries. Yay, body, for fixing it. Gosh, if there is not an innate wisdom there. But what happens, this is the development of atherosclerosis. The more Band-Aids you put on top, the thicker your arteries get, the harder it is for your blood to flow, the more now you start to see issues in the cardiovascular system, right? So in the work that I propose this month and next month in the Good Food Network, we're getting to the root of why cardiovascular issues show up. We're diving deep. We're getting a greater understanding of everything that's contributing. And then we're getting the tools to get out of this and to support the body to stop feeling like she needs to always put on the Band-Aids and make the repairs. Like, that's actually where the work lies. And I'll tell you, while we're focusing on the heart, do you know that blood sugar imbalances drive metabolic issues, thyroid issues, dementia, Alzheimer's? They drive mood stuff. They drive adrenal drains. They drains on your adrenal. They drive liver issues. They go hand in hand with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. They go, right? Like, I'm here to tell you the work while we're focusing on the heart. When you do this work for the heart, you're now going to see a benefit across the board in reducing what's driving chronic disease. The work is the same for everybody. Oh, add to that PCOS, add to that fertility issues, add to that Troubles with your period. Yeah, blood sugar imbalances can, in a roundabout way, impact these things. So when we do the work that I'm proposing in the Good Food Network this month, that's what we're getting at. So how are we going to do that, Luca? So this is the idea. When you get to the pieces I'm recommending, this is how you reduce what's driving your symptoms. So bonus, you're going to reduce the symptoms. And when the symptoms reduce, it's because we're on the right track and we're actually getting at the root of things. We're not just, it's not a Band-Aid solution. So I want to show you what the Good Food Network looks like. So let me take you over. It's going to be trippy for a second. Okay, me looking at me, that's weird. Okay, so here we are in the Good Food Network, sharing my screen so that you can see it and have a good view of what it looks like. So this is part giving you a tour of the place to show you in case you're thinking, well, I said yes to 3 of the things that Luca said in her top 10. Maybe I need to join the network, but what does it entail? First of all, when you join the network, I'm going to tell you if you can dedicate an hour a week, you're on the right track. That's the amount of work you want to put in, and that's how you know you'll get good use out of the network. An hour a week for you to take yourself, it's self-directed, and it's served like a buffet. When you go to the buffet with your family, and there's 8 of you, do 8 of you get the exact same plate? No. Do 8 of you clear the entire buffet after each person? No. No. So here we're talking about pick what you want off of the buffet table. I'm going to give you a tour of what is on offer this month. And then for those who are in the network, stick around because I'm going to give you a tour of how to actually find your place around, or find your way around the place. That's what I mean. So when we get into the Good Food Network, we have things broken down into 3 sections. Let me maximize my screen. I think it works a bit better. So we've got the sort of administrative stuff up top. You scroll down, we've got a section called Live Sessions. We've got a section called the pre-recorded content. And then we've got the written content. So they all tell you the 3 different things that you get access to in the network. You get some written stuff that you can print. You get some on-demand pre-recorded content that entails video. Yeah, pre-recorded, that's what that means. I don't have audio versions. Live sessions. So these are the ones where we're meeting live in person. So it's like watching CTV on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock because the Cosby Show comes on. That's right. I am a child of the 80s. And then pre-recorded content is like Netflix, like a streaming service. And then written content is things to get printed. So let's start with the written content because that makes it really, really easy. When we go in, we have 5 recipes for the month of July. So we've got really seasonal eatings. I'm a really big believer in eating along with the seasons. When we eat with what's in season, our microbiome, if we are getting outside every day, gets a little bit better acquainted with what's going on in the season. And when we feature those foods, we're just helping the system work a little bit better. So eating seasonally is a big thing that I recommend. And every month I give you 5 recipes to showcase this way. So you can try a new recipe a week if you want. So we've got jam jar dressings because who doesn't want salad dressings homemade? That's your first order of business. Ditch the bottle dressings, make your own. Summer spice rubs because it's barbecue season. Lentil batch cooking. I always have a big batch item every month. Crème fraîche is your traditional foods piece this month. We're going to learn how to ferment whipping cream because it is in high season right now. And then a sweet treat to end things, chocolate bark. And chocolate has a special affinity for the heart. And so we'll have this recipe in the package. So if you want to join the Good Food Network, this is where you start. You just print all these recipes. They are down below. LH means low histamine. So I've made low histamine alternatives for those who need it. So make sure you print the ones that are applied. Now, when you're done, for those who are going to join us in the network of what you've already looked, we have finished and we've printed these things up. Now I want to go back to back to the main page of the program. And you'll see here the recipes. Once I've marked them completed, it shows up as completed. So now I know that I've printed them up. I don't need to go back. So that makes it a bit easier. Now, weekly challenge for July, I'll tell you what we're doing this month. There's a weekly food challenge that goes out on all my social media for free, but here on the Good Food Network, we explore it and we dive a little bit deeper. So every week there is a food challenge. So Get Your Eggs On is the challenge from last week. I've already started posting stuff that is supposed to go out later today. This is what is going out today. Eat cherries. That's our food for this week. So eat as often as you can this month. There's going to be a link out to information about why featuring cherries is important, ways to think about this, and I give you some ideas. So we flesh it out a little bit more in the Good Food Network. And then every week, this gets updated and you start to pile up on week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So this helps you flesh out the specifics on how to get some of these foods in your belly every week. So that's the weekly challenge. Then we've got eating with the seasons. It's summer. Why would we want to eat seasonally? Well, lots of really good information here. This video explains a little bit more about the wisdom of eating with the seasons and why you may want to. So you get to watch that. And then we have handouts and recipes for each season. That's it in here. Well, no, there's more recipes down below. But here we've got a handout and we have some recipes. So there's even more recipes. So every time you enter a module, go ahead and print stuff up. That way it helps you keep track of things, add the recipes to a binder in the kitchen and get going with it. What I want to show you today is this one. So there's that recipe bundle, but this is the other one here. And this is the handout that explores how to be with the seasons. And so here you have foods that are very much aligned with the seasons. This is the kind of thing you want to print up and put on your fridge. In here, we list all of those foods that are naturally at the peak season right now in North America, where I am, Turtle Island. And so this gives you the foods to reach for that'll help support the heart, but they are also in season. So it makes it fairly easy. And there's some like broccoli is not, well, it's starting to get ready at some of the local shops actually. But if you're growing it in your garden, it's probably not quite ready, but the lettuce sure is. And then we've got superfoods. So these are the next level or level 400 foods that are incredible for the heart. We've got teas, roots, and shoots. So a list of teas, we have herbs and spices, and those spices that would be beneficial to this season. Then we have ideas on how to move through this season. So heart-friendly foods, dark pigmented red plant foods. So I love the cherries. That's why they are on the Eat This Week, and lots of different things in here. Main organ for the season, main energy for the season, gives you an idea on how to think about moving through the season. And then I give you 5 things, lifestyle ideas, if you will, that will help support you moving through this season. So this is such a nice little piece that updates every 3 months. And so we started this one in June. So it's a nice one to refer to once you feel you've got your bearings on how the network works. That's kind of the next level. It's a nice little extra bit, if you will. So that's your written content. Now let's scooch up one section here. We're going to go to pre-recorded content. Pre-recorded. What's pre-recorded? Oh, Disney Channel or Netflix or YouTube, right? It's on demand, if you will. These videos are on demand and you've got 3 to choose from. So you can watch all 3. You can pick just one. I'll show you how you can keep track of things in just a moment. We've got Go Sprouted. It's a class on going sprouted. You choose whether or not you want to go sprouted or paleo. We've got a vitality class. This is a brand new one. Nobody else is going to get it except for the Good Food Network. And it is here for you this month. We'll take you through that in just a moment. And then we have a scratch cooking class. This is a 90-minute class. It runs all month and you can watch it whenever you want. And we get into making eggs. So it's something that I ran with my daughter at the start of the pandemic. We were running it out of our kitchen for the kids of her junior high. And we had a 10 series cooking class where for 10 Fridays in a row, we met and we ran with it. And it was very much off the cuff. And we had a really great time. And somebody at the outset said, you should record these classes. These would be really awesome to have on hand. So we did. And this is the end result. So we have 1 a month in the network. This month, we are focusing on eggs. So let's go through this sprouted video. So here we are, we're doing Go Sprouted or Go Paleo. So this talks about the wisdom of our ancestors and their traditional ways, and a shortcut for those who really need to reduce inflammation. And remember, inflammation is what's at the root of heart disease. So it's perfect to go sprouted. So this is a 32-minute video thereabouts, and it takes you through ideas on thinking about why sprouted, why activated, why soaking, sprouting, and fermenting, and what the difference is, and how to think about it, what might work best in which scenario. And you get a whole chart. So there's a low histamine version as well for some of the recipes and ways to think about doing this. So these are all pieces that go with this module on going sprouted. So if you join the network this month, you will learn how to go sprouted. And I'm trying to think, I think it goes for July and August. Yeah, we've got 2 months of this. So if you're getting overwhelmed, leave this one for August. Now we have a full 2-hour class on the heart. I have a whole vitality class series, and I've got different topics. Each class runs 2 hours. They were originally run or set up for an afternoon at the Light Cellar many years ago. And so the heart class I did, and I hadn't touched in about 6 years. I updated it, I revamped it, I made it a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more interesting with a slideshow now. So this is a full class. Now there's 13 video modules in this. You've got a handout. The handout includes more recipes. So this is one to make sure you print up, and it's got worksheets so you can take yourself through it. So each video here, they're all numbered, video 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 13. Your handout helps you keep track of where you are in the videos so you can watch them at your leisure. Okay, so that's the Vitality Heart class. So let's go back down to the pre-recorded. So we've gone through a sprouted class, going through why activating your foods is important. We've done the 2-hour heart class and this cooking class for eggs. Now, we also have live content where, like this current session, we're doing it in July, in the moment, in the GoodFood Network. All of these you can join in live. If you can't join us live because of work or travel issues, or you're maybe not around at the time we are airing these, then you can watch the replay for all of these. So let's start with the bi-weekly office hours. We have 2 Tuesdays this month where we will be meeting. And those, I'll show you where you'll find them. When there is a replay, the link will be here, so you can catch the replay there. So yeah, 2 Tuesdays every month we meet at noon for a 1-hour session. Think of it as your accountability call. For clients who are in the network and who were one-on-one clients, they are exactly those accountability calls. And not many people end up coming to them. So come and you get your personalized hour with Luca if you want. I'm just saying. Yeah. So that's your bi-weekly office hours. We've got food as medicine sessions, and these are every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. So we do these live so that you can bring your breakfast, and it's at a different time of the day that hopefully will work. And it's anywhere, they're close to about 30 minutes in length, and these have a different topic every week. So this Thursday, we're talking about the gut-heart connection and why this kind of stuff shows up in the heart when there's gut issues. Then we're going to talk about the best herbs, roots, and shoots for the heart. We're going to link the heart and thyroid connection. It's a huge driver of the cholesterol numbers, actually. So when we have high cholesterol, yeah, it's an issue that's impacting the heart, but it starts in the thyroid, actually. So then we're going to get into what are those solutions, how to know this is you, and then what you need to do. July 27th, I like to focus at least once a month on a nutrient that is kind of a super nutrient for that system in question. K2 is one of those missing nutrients for heart health. So we'll get into that towards the end of the month. Now, once they're done, if you keep scrolling down for those who are going to join us, the replay will be here. Oh, that should say July. But yeah. Anyway, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, all of your replays are here. All you have to do is to click on those buttons to access the replays. Let's go back to the things here. So that's the food is medicine. There are weekly Thursday morning sessions. And then we have one live class every month. And this month, we are doing a class on harnessing blood sugars for heart health, really honing in on the blood sugar balance piece to heart And then what are those pieces that you can put in place to get started for yourself? So we're meeting Wednesday at 9 a.m. on July 26th. It's all on Zoom. If you're in the network, you don't need to pre-register for this. If you only want to attend this, then I'll have a link out to that as well. It's worth half of the cost of the network. So if you join the network, you get a bunch of extra stuff for free. So here we go. This class coming up on July 26th. When I'm ready, there will be a handout here. There will be a replay once the class has wrapped up, and you'll have till the end of the month. And then sometimes there's extras down here, links out that I mentioned in the class. So we're doing that class on July 26th. That is the Harnessing Your Blood Sugars for Heart Health. Now we've gone through the written content, the on-demand content, and the live stuff that we do that you can join in. All of these, PS, once you're in the network, you can join in, no problem. Let me take you through what you want to do when you join the network first thing. So start here, kitten, obviously. This gives you a tour of what's all available in the network. And it's I don't know how long the video is. Let's look. It's almost half an hour. So it gives you a really in-depth look at how to best utilize the network and how to find the different moving parts. Now down here is where this call I'm doing right now, the link is going to be out here. As soon as I'm done, I'm going to upload it there. But here is what I want to take you through, the schedule and checklist. So in the network, now that you know that there's written content, there's recorded or on-demand content and live content, what the schedule has is just the live content. So if I expand this, I think you should be able to see it. Yeah. So we've got all of the different sessions, the live sessions linked, or not linked out, but printed up here so that you can have this printed up. I do this every month. I print it up and I leave it next to my desk. That way I can refer to it and know what are the things that I want to do this month. I really want to get to know this 3 best herbs, roots, and shoots for the heart. I want to make sure that I'm there that Thursday on July 13th. I'm going to highlight this one, put it in my calendar so I know that that's when I really want to attend. Or whatever, right? If you want to join the weekly office hours, you're away this week, but you're home this week. Fantastic. Why don't you highlight that and then put it in your day timer so you get the reminder to join us just before that happens. All of these times are Alberta times. So I know we have people in Ontario, we have people in Colorado who are in the network, and we have people on the coast. So adjust your times accordingly. I'll tell you once you're in the network, your Zoom times that show up in your upcoming sessions, those are your time. They're set to your time. It does a switch, but my schedule, my PDF of my schedule does not adjust to your time zone, but your Zoom links do. So it's all good. Just follow the Zoom links. That will tell you the actual time of when that session happens. Okay. So that is the schedule. Now, if you want to print it up, there is a printable PDF version here. You download to your computer and you print from your downloads folder. Now, we also have a checklist for each month. So this is to help you make sure you're using the network to the full extent. So I'm going to scroll down just to show you everything and then know that down here there's a printable version. So you just download to your computer and then you print it from there. Let me take you through here. This has all of the different moving parts of the network. And we've got a checkbox so that you can check mark them if you want, but I'll tell you what I like to do. Here on the left-hand side, there's a space here, and I left it there so that you can put in order of importance what you want to attend. So for example, if you want to make sure that you watch that Vitality Heart class, PS, that's actually where I would recommend most people start, then write this one as number 1. Actually, I'd say number 2, print up your schedule first, and then do the Vitality Heart class. Now, we've got other pieces in here. There's a main topic on heart. There is that Go Sprouted on-demand video. There's that 2-hour Vitality Heart class. There's the eggs class where you get to cook. And we've got those Thursday mornings. You can watch the replays in the module. These are your live sessions. There's that live class, Harnessing Blood Sugars for Heart Health. It's on July 26th. Also got the recipes, the Eating with the Seasons handout, the weekly challenge, and then those office hours on Tuesdays. So I want you to go through this. Once you've printed it up, start first with, I don't want to attend this. I'm going to scratch it off my list to make it easier. Good idea. Then scratch those out. If you don't want to print up the Eating with the Seasons handout, then you just scratch that out. It makes it easier for you to make your list. And then go through, organize in order of what it is you want to tend to. I'll tell you, the biggest bang for your buck is that Vitality Heart class. And if you really like a good checklist, check mark all of the printables. So print up your recipes, print up your Eating with the Seasons, and it took you 2 minutes and you've already checked 2 things off the list. It's not going to be overwhelming as soon as you jump in, I promise. The overwhelm reduces as soon as you jump in. So this is your checklist. So make sure you print that up. Okay. Let's go back to that program. So that was your schedule and checklist. So there is a full topic on the heart. And in here, we talk a lot about how to know you have heart issues and what it is you want to get into when you have heart issues, cardiovascular issues, especially if there's a history of it in your family. So this is all housed in here. So I encourage you to go look at this. It's just written content, but it's kind of an administrative way to tell you, hey, this is how you know you have heart issues. This is how I propose we get at it. This is where you start. So it gives you, that's why I have it at the start of the whole network program, so that it's the administrative piece. Do I have heart issues? What am I going to do about it? Here's how I propose you go about it. That's all housed in this module. And then all about your network subscription, because the Good Food Network is a subscription service. This keeps you in the loop of how it all works. When you need to tell me you don't want to be in the network anymore in order to leave, you have a 7-day free trial, PS. So if you want to sign up today, then you have up to 7 days. I will fully reimburse you and no questions asked. You can print everything, watch all you want to, and leave in a week. That's fine. If that's what you need, I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure you'll want to stick around because I think there's more than you think there is in the network. But, to each their own. That 7-day trial is there so you can try it. So there's, the risk is very low. So this gives you the full details on your network subscription. So once you join in, make sure that you check out this module. And then take yourself through some of these modules to get acquainted with it. Now, I'm going to take you through a couple of extra bits for those who are going to join us in the network or who are new to the network this month. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks and hints on how to use this to the best of your ability. It is in that Start Here Kitten video, but I'm going to highlight them right now because I think they're really important to know. There's a couple of things for you to know once you join the network. This button top left that has my insignia here gives you the spot to get to your home page very quickly. When you maximize your screen or your window, I'm on a Mac, and so this is how I do it. I can go to my full screen. This gives me the best layout. So I like to start this way. Now here you're going to see a few things on your home dashboard. Send a message, complete forms, request a session. No, I don't want to upload a document. No, Luca, I just want to get in the network. Okay, 2 ways. GF Network, click on this, it takes you directly. Oh, easy. Back home. You can also access through programs. So you could click on programs and get to Good Food Network, or you could just click on this guy. Now, your live sessions are all in your upcoming sessions widget. These boxes are widgets. This is the upcoming sessions widget. This is the My Programs widget. This is pending forms widget. You won't have anything in a pending forms. Don't worry. Upcoming sessions, orientation call for Good Food Network. This is the current session going on right now. When it's time to join, you just click on the little camera icon and it takes you directly to the Zoom session. This Thursday is our Food is Medicine Quickly video. Click on the camera when you're ready to join our weekly office hours, Tuesday, July 11th at noon, and so on and so forth. So all of those sessions will be here under your upcoming sessions. That's how you join us live in the Good Food Network. In addition, up here sometimes there are notifications in this little bell area. There's also a little chat. So I'll tell you a little secret for those who are in the network. Every time I upload something, anytime there's something new in the network, if there's a replay link available, or maybe there's a live session coming up, I post it in the chat. So I want you to know you can join us in the chat. Sorry, I shouldn't have shown names there. You can join us in the chat and you can see all the new pieces going on. So orientation call is coming up on Monday morning, bright and early. So it's just a reminder that the orientation call is going on. And then here, oh, look, new content awaits. And then this was last month. We had to print up the stuff before it disappeared. And then this was the session last Thursday, Slow Detoxifier. Let's set you up. So every time I do a session, I give you I let you know a few days beforehand, a day or two before we get into the session. So if you're wondering what's new this week, what have I missed? What are the replays I can access? They will always be listed here. And every time I post, there's an image so that you can easily differentiate one post from the next. So use that chat. You can go here and you can clear them as well. If you go to unread messages, mark all as read. Because I've gone through the whole thing. Awesome. Now this should disappear, I think. There it is. So now I don't have any chats up here, but I can access it just by clicking on that chat and it comes here. We've got the Good Food Network and here it is. And for anybody who's in the network, if you wanted to send me a message, hi, Luca, I have a question. Anybody who is in the Good Food Network has the capacity to send me a message one-on-one, and then I'll be able to answer your questions. So use these as some of your tools to get through the Good Food Network. And I'll tell you, let me stop share here for a second. I'll tell you, the best deal to use is once you're in the Good Food Network, use that chat function to keep track of what are all those updated pieces. Make sure you print up that checklist so that you can prioritize what are the things I'm going to want to do. And I'll tell you, stick to the same time every week. You know, if Monday nights is a good night for you to dive into it, Monday nights after supper and the dishes are done, plan to spend at least an hour. You can absolutely spend 3 hours a week in the network and get good content out of it, like good use out of it. That's what I mean, good use. So prioritize this. The cost of it is $55 a month. It's going down in September because I'm going to shift it up a little bit. So you can choose maybe which pieces you want, which pieces you don't want, and it'll help reduce the price and make it a bit more accessible. I'm always wanting to make things accessible, but this is content for those who are self-motivated. If you need a lot of hand-holding, then you need to be one-on-one client. That's a total different thing. But this is really good. I love the network. I built it with former clients in mind. Clients who thought, okay, well, we've gone through so many issues and so many things we've talked about and so many recommendations, and I vacillate and I go through different phases, and sometimes I need an update. What the Good Food Network does, it gives you a focus for the month. And in that focus, we go back through some of those recommendations you may have had as a one-on-one client. And so it's a revisiting of some of those really great things that you had in place and says, oh yeah, do you remember we talked about electrolyte drinks? Oh, we did. I should bring those back in. And you do. And then you start to resolve some of the issues that are going on. So it's that kind of spot. Like, it's a really one-stop shop with so many different options that make it customizable to what you need. But I'll tell you, you have to do the customizing. I just give you the smorgasbord. When you go to the buffet, do they build your plate for you? No, you build your own plate. You want control over what goes on your plate. You want to pick the juiciest piece of prime rib. You do not want the fattiest piece of prime rib. Unless you're me, maybe you want the fattiest piece. Anyway, you want the piece you want. You don't want someone choosing for you. So think of the Good Food Network that way. Now, I'm always here if you have any questions. For anybody who's joined us live, I thank you for joining us. I'm going to drop the links as soon as I wrap this call up so that you can link out and join us as soon as you're ready. And that's the deal. As soon as you join, if this is your first time working with me, you have one step to tend to before you can access the network, and that's create a password. That's it. Once you join in, you have instant access to everything. So take your time through it. Hit me up with any questions you've got. And if you said yes to any of those symptoms at the start of our session today, what are you waiting for? If it's a personal invitation you want, then that's what I'm giving you. Here's your personal invitation. Come join us in the Good Food Network. I'll see you there. Take care, everybody. Salut, à bientôt.